JJ Redick and LeBron James just dropped episode 1 of their new podcast, Mind the Game. And in it, they discuss various basketball topics, including some niche topics that I think deserve some further discussion. This was an amazing podcast, and I'm really excited for the potential of what it could do for the basketball community and how it could really let us inside the mind of the people that do this at the highest level. In the podcast, they talk about various things, whether it's floppy action, whether it's high ball screen setup, whether it's how to defend baseline out of bounds. That's if you're into the X's and O's, but then they also discuss some very interesting things that have to do with the mental side of the game. The whole idea of this podcast was to basically discuss what makes and goes into being a great basketball player. It was kind of a conversation of nature versus nurture. Are you born a great basketball player, or are you made into one? They kind of came to the conclusion that it was a little bit of both, and I agree. There were a few specific topics that I really wanted to discuss. The first one and the main topic being basketball IQ. JJ Redick asked the question, do you think basketball IQ is innate, or do you think it can be taught? And they specifically discussed players like LeBron, Jokic, and Doncic, and how their mental processing speed is so high. Now, when it comes to the highest level of basketball IQ, I'm not sure that anyone can be taught to be as smart as Luka or LeBron on the court, but I do think that a lot of it can be taught. But the problem is a lot of people today try and act like it's some puzzle you have to put together. It's pretty simple. Play the game and watch the game. I think playing the game is self-explanatory. How are you going to get better and smarter in a situation if you're not thrown into those situations? But people want to skip the watching part. It blows my mind how many people that I know personally that say they love basketball but don't watch basketball. I'm talking like anything. They don't watch games, they don't watch highlights, nothing. In fact, I played with some really good players who don't watch it. But if that's you, if you're one of the players that say you love the game and don't watch the game, you're limiting your potential insane. In some of my previous videos, I put it like this. I'll ask this question. Would you allow a brain surgeon who has never studied or watched how a brain surgery is performed, perform one on your mom? No, of course you wouldn't. And the same thing goes for basketball. Why do you think that the basketball gods would take you serious if you don't watch and study the game? You wouldn't expect a brain surgeon or any other profession actually to do that, so why do you do it with basketball? That's always blown my mind. I don't know. Another thing they talked about was how good coaching plays into it, and I agree with that point as well. The next thing that they talked about that I really wanted to discuss in this video was love for the game. They were specifically talking about loving the game so much that you don't just want to play the game, but you want to do all the preparation before, whether it's workouts, stretching, taking care of your body, all that type of stuff. That's what they were talking about. But it brought to my mind how much people don't love basketball. They love what comes with basketball. I'll put it to you like this. They don't love shooting 500 shots at 5:30 in the morning. They love having a mixtape of them shooting in games. They don't love talking on defense or hard workouts. They love the cool shoes that you get to wear when you play basketball. They don't love watching the game, but they want people to watch them. They basically only love basketball for the attention that it can give them and nothing else. They're culture vultures. There's nothing more I hate whenever I talk to young players that say they love the game, but you can clearly tell it's all just a facade. It's super frustrating, and again, it just completely limits your potential. If you love the game, play the game. If you don't, get out. I had a coach put it to me this way when it comes to loving the game and deciding if you love the game or not, and we're going to again use another analogy, and we're going to talk about a real life relationship. If you have a girlfriend or a wife and you love your girlfriend or wife, you want to do what? Spend as much time with your girlfriend or wife as possible. So taking that same logic, if you say you love basketball but you don't want to spend as much time with basketball as possible, you don't love it. The third and final topic of conversation that JJ and LeBron talked about was how much today's basketball is based off of potential and not actual skill. And they were specifically talking about the NBA draft and how much lottery picks are based off potential and not actually guys who are able to play the game. And if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while now and you've been watching my previous videos, you know how I feel about this topic and this exact same thing when it comes to high school basketball rankings. And I couldn't agree more. People who are in charge of evaluating talent have real issues, and they don't know what it means to be a good basketball player. They might know what it means to be an athlete, or they might know what it means to be 6'6", but they don't know what it means to play basketball. I understand that athleticism and size definitely goes into it, but when that person with athleticism and size can't shoot in basketball, or if they don't know how to go set a down screen and have no desire to learn how to go set a down screen and then slip to the basket, then that athleticism has no point. You can see how far downhill we've been going by what LeBron said. LeBron was saying how there are literally players in the NBA, professional basketball players in the National Basketball Association, who don't know how to flip a play mentally. But basically, if you set up a play on one side, you can't say run the play on the other side to the people without them having to go through 5 minutes of drawing the play up to figure it out. Guys, these are professionals. Imagine, there's a butcher in a butcher shop. He usually cuts his meat on the right side of the deli bar. But for whatever reason today, he had to go to the left side of the deli bar. But because of that, he couldn't cut his meat anymore. What would you think of that butcher? that he's an idiot. That's what we're talking about with these NBA players and these college players. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I understand that a lot of lottery picks and that a lot of high school rankings are projections to the future, so it's not what they are currently. But the problem is these same people that are ranked in the top 20 in the country in high school basketball end up being lottery picks whenever they have shown no signs of development in their game, and there's actually signs that they don't work on their game. I think we can all kind of agree that basketball is in a scary place right now, and we're just talking about lack of competitiveness. And the reason that people don't compete is because it doesn't mean anything to them, because they never had to work for it, because they're entitled. They've just been told how they're a top 20 player in the country the whole time, so they don't have to work, so they don't care if they win or lose, dude. Whether they win or lose or not, whether they get a workout in at 5:30 in the morning or not, they're still going to be top 20 in the country. They're still going to be a lottery pick, so who cares? Who cares if I play defense on this possession? Who cares if I can hit this wide open jump shot in the corner that my team needs me to hit? Doesn't matter to me. I'll be the same person no matter what. So not only are they not working on their basketball skills, they're not working on their competitive nature skills. People don't think about competing as a skill, but I do. This is how I decide if something is a skill or not. 1, are certain people better at it than others? And 2, can you work on whatever we're talking about? Some people are better competitors than others, and you can work on becoming a better competitor through playing and working. So that means it's a skill. So they're not working on their basketball skill or their mental competitiveness skill, which means actually they're not working on anything. But LeBron and JJ chopped it up. It was honestly probably the best podcast I've ever watched as a basketball fan. You can tell it's only going to get better. I'll have their episode 1 linked in the description below. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. I'll see you guys soon.